Hey Russell, this is Trent Richards from Redlist. It's been about 30 days since we came on site with you the other day, and I thought I'd just do a brief follow-up and maybe provide a little bit of a demo from as supplement to what we did discuss when we were there. I'm just signing into a demo account that we use to kind of build the storyboard that we took you through. It was actually Talmadge, our CEO, that kind of went through that, but he's asked me to do some follow-up with you, so um, thought I might create a little demo video for you based on what we discussed. So this is just a mine demo account, and we've loaded some of your assets in here. One of our prized features is this quick view tool that gives you kind of an aerial view. But I'm going to just quickly introduce what our software does. Um, and just I'm going to do that by virtue of going through these icons really quick. Most of these icons will not be seen by everyone in the company. In fact, most of them just see my time card or my performance, my assignments, my service tickets, etc. And this is set up by the permissions section. But as an administrator, you're going to have access to all these icons. From an admin perspective, this is where you build your universe. So essentially, you load the assets, be it like haul trucks or shovels or other assets within the mine. Could be both fixed assets or mobile assets. You can actually load those, create groups, which would be like, for instance, a fleet of haul trucks, for instance. Asset sections. If it's a fixed, like in this case, we have a lot of customers that either have pipelines or conveyors, and they want to section those off. You can load those in. Asset components are essentially um, little subsets um, of componentry within an asset. So, for instance, a haul truck has a motor, it has a differential, it has a hydraulic subsystem. Um, all those things could be loaded in as asset components. You load your people and users. Users are everyone that has access to the platform. Sometimes there might be people that don't have access, but you need to send them messages. They're loaded as people. You can load locations and vendors and even company information. And again, we have a QR code generator. So this QR code generator allows you to um, build a QR code for all of your assets in the mine, and and these QR codes can be we usually print them out on industrial vinyl, which is the same thing that automotive industry uses for it doesn't fade, it doesn't weather check. Um, but you can print these off, put them on your equipment, and they can be scanned by digital devices to bring up either in pre-operation inspection forms or post-op forms or even maintenance schedules. So this is something that a prized feature of ours. But all that is created within this admin function. We do have some rudimentary time tracking. This is if people want to use our technology for time capability or time tracking time, we can allow that as well. We have a forms tool. Now this is one of the very best tools that's complementary to other ERP systems. So we have a lot of our customers that have an existing ERP and they don't necessarily want to use our software for all components, for all capabilities. In fact, they prefer to use their ERP, but they do have maybe functions that are right now on paper form that are not easily captured, or either that or they're duplicate efforts. Maybe they're captured on paper and then someone has to do data entry. We're able to capture a lot of that data and digitize it on our forms. And I'll kind of show you more of that. We have a reliability section, which is the preventative maintenance section of our software, and this is where you build preventative maintenance routes, lubrication routes. All the assets that you loaded in this admin section can have work orders against them or preventative maintenance schedules against them, etc. We also have the ability to add products or product groups. This could be lubricants or filters or consumables of all sorts and types. We have a production section that probably not as relevant to you, but again, the quick league section is something that most people will see. This quick view is also kind of a handy feature. Um, we did load some aerial images of your mine in our software, and in this live view, you can see wherever I have a red pulsing dot indicates that I have some preventive maintenance task that's overdue. Normally, we kind of try to light this up with green dots. Usually, our customers put the business rules. A green means that it's already within the specified preventative maintenance spec. If something's coming up within the next 7 days, it's a caution, or if it's overdue, it's an alert. So, let's, for instance, if I click on this red dot here, it pulls up a shovel. We only have 3 maintenance items on this for the demo, but normally you'd have several on a piece of an asset like a shovel. But any of those I can actually click on and drill further into um, this asset. For instance, this looks like this has already been maintained because it's green, the coolant system, whereas this hydraulic system is out of spec. Um, if I go to the uh, the specifics on this dot, you can actually even pull up oil samples, um, data sensors. Our software can interface with not just preventative maintenance but predictive maintenance type tools like thermography capture um, or even oil analytics capture. We can once we see that there's a maintenance items in there, we could actually look at the work order that's associated with that. Now I'm logged in as myself, and it's obviously not in my queue. But if I hit the current, this actually shows things that are assigned to both me and someone else. You can see that this the check filter on the engine is overdue. So you can check that as done and clear that out if in fact you do the work. So um, that's how kind of just a general overview of our software. And I really think that it might be a beneficial software for you to use, at least if not all of it, just components of it. Most people use the forms at the very least. So I think we've actually created a form for you. If I go to submit, this gear thermography inspection is something that we created for you. So these questions probably look familiar to you. But you can actually specify the date, the inspector's name, the ambient temperature, um, equipment number, and so you can load that in from an asset table, um, SP1 through 5. And I actually added a few things here just to kind of show you how our software works. But this is where you capture that data. If I go to this forms tool and I look at view entries, and I want to look at the entries that have been logged for the past year, the past 365 days for that gear thermography inspection, you can see that I did log in here and actually um, do some. This is probably back when we met with you. I logged some data in here so you could see that you can have an entire printout for a whole year's worth of, or any date range you specify for that inspection. And if you wanted to pull up a specific inspection, you can actually create a PDF version of it that you can then print out. If should anybody want to audit you or want printouts of that inspection. So um, on that forms tool, I just want to go to the create real fast just because I want to show the power of this forms tool. So if I go, let me go to your gear thermography inspection. This is the authoring tool for that inspection. You can see that we have, like, for instance, an input date. When you edit this, you can specify, what information are you capturing? Is it a text area, checkbox, a selection button, etc.? In this case, it is a text. And what kind of text we can specify? Is it an email, a number, a date, a time? We could specify that to be a date, so it will force a date field when they go to uh, put that date in there when they fill that field out. So one of the ones that I just created just for in the spirit of demonstration is this are all temperatures within specified range. Now I added that, and I don't even know if it's relevant to you, but this is a selection button on the type of input. We've chosen that to be a selection button, which is a really kind of fat finger friendly yes or no. Swipe yes right for yes, swipe no for your left for no, or whatever. So we've created that so that it's really easy. But this is the kind of the genius behind our software is these logic buttons that you can add to any inspection. So for instance, I can say, well, I want to require this. always, or I want to require it when, question. I could actually say, when some question has some criteria, I can require it. So, for instance, in this case, let me just require this always, um, and I'm going to put a work order in here, and basically I said you could say always or when. It's basically if then else logic. So I say when question 12, which is the one that we're on right now, is no, um, then I want to create a work order. Um, and I want to require that work order description. And you can specify the when it's due. You could specify who's the direct responsible individual for that. I've just loaded myself in there, and you can even say, well, who's the lead for that person, and then select done. So these logic buttons um, are really powerful. So you can even make it visible. So only make this visible when question. Let's say the question above it, question 9 is any. That if it's a specified number, we can actually specify that. But I'm just going to say if there's any field, any data in the field, then we're going to make this visible. So anyway, that's how our logic buttons work. But they're really powerful tools to make sure that we simplify forms. So you basically you can hide all the questions and make them only show up if certain things are asked at or answered in the affirmative or the negative, and then that way it's a really simplified, clean form. But we also have the interplay between the forms and the reliability suite. So if someone were to specify this as no, then it will generate a work order that will then be populated in the reliability suite. So again, it's a really powerful tool in that regard. So sorry for the lengthy video. Hopefully this is meaningful to you and gives you an idea of how our software works in a little bit more detail. But feel free to reach out if you have any other questions or you'd like a more in-depth demo. Look forward to working with you and really hope that we have the opportunity to work together, and hopefully you can find a good spot for Redlist within your organization. I'm sure that we can make you more efficient. Talk to you soon, and thanks for listening in.